Don't you
home
dare
is
walk
destroyed
away
by
from me.
poverty.
You hear me?
It's
Don't you
destroyed by
dare.
betrayal.
Watch me. I
A
can't stand
billionaire
to be
let a
here
maid
another
poison his
second.
mind and chase away the woman who
How could
truly
you do
loved
this
him.
to us? Get
But
out
when
of my
regret
house.
finally came knocking,
I didn't do
he
anything.
discovered something money
Let me
can't buy
explain.
back: trust. People think a home is protected by locks, cameras, and wealth. They're wrong. A home is protected by loyalty. And loyalty is the first thing to die when a man starts enjoying attention he didn't earn. Whitmore didn't know that yet. He believed his mansion was unshakable, built with steel, crowned with power, guarded by money. But in that same house lived Cassandra, his wife, who had quietly carried his storm for years without applause. That morning, Cassandra stood by the kitchen window, holding a mug of tea with both hands, as if warmth could stop heartbreak. Brett walked in, tie crooked, jaw tight. "You're always quiet," he said, irritation dripping from his voice. "It's like living with a statue." Cassandra blinked slowly. "I'm quiet because every time I speak, you turn my words into a fight." Brett scoffed. "Here we go again." Cassandra swallowed pain. "Brett, do you still love me?" Brett paused for half a second. "Just half." Then he looked away. "Love doesn't pay bills, Cassandra. I'm tired. Don't start this." He grabbed his briefcase and walked out like her question was dust. Cassandra's chest tightened, but she didn't cry. She simply stared at the door as if she'd been abandoned in slow motion. Then the front door opened again. Not Brett. It was Naomi Rivers, newly hired maid, stepping into the Whitmore mansion like it was a stage meant for her. She was polite, smiling, glowing, but behind that smile was a mind sharp enough to cut glass. Naomi greeted Cassandra sweetly. "Good morning, ma'am. I'm Naomi. It's an honor to serve this home." Cassandra nodded softly. "Welcome." Naomi studied Cassandra in that single glance. Not her clothes, not her jewelry, her sadness. Naomi thought: a lonely husband, a tired wife, a mansion full of silence. This will be easy. That night, Brett returned late, frustrated, hungry, angry at the world. Cassandra was upstairs, exhausted. Naomi met Brett at the door with controlled warmth. "Good evening, Mr. Whitmore," she said gently, reaching to take his coat. Brett stared, surprised. "Where's Cassandra?" Naomi's eyes softened like she was worried. She seemed tired today. "I didn't want to disturb her." Brett grunted. "She's always tired." Naomi nodded slowly, like she understood pain. "That must feel lonely." Brett froze. Lonely? Nobody ever cared enough to name the feeling inside him. Naomi poured him a drink and stood at a respectful distance, but not too far. "You work so hard," Naomi whispered. "This house should be comforting you, not draining you." Brett looked at her like she just spoke the language he'd been starving for. The trap was planted. Naomi returned to her room that night and stared into the mirror. "I won't be a maid forever," she promised herself. "I'll be the woman of this house." And upstairs, Cassandra held Brett's pillow, whispering a prayer he couldn't hear. "Please, don't let my love become something he forgets." Naomi didn't seduce Brett with skin. She seduced him with peace. Brett lived in a world where everyone demanded from him. Employees, investors, reporters, family. Even Cassandra demanded his attention, his love, his time. But Naomi? Naomi offered admiration without effort. She began her routine carefully. Small compliments, quiet understanding, gentle laughter at Brett's jokes, even when they weren't funny. One morning, Brett walked into the kitchen and found Naomi humming as she arranged breakfast. Cassandra sat at the table, staring at her plate without appetite. Brett frowned. "What's this?" Naomi smiled. "Your favorite, sir. Eggs the way you like them." Brett glanced at Cassandra. "You never make breakfast anymore." Cassandra's eyes flashed with hurt. "Because you stopped eating with me. You leave before sunrise and return after midnight." Brett rolled his eyes. "Excuses." Naomi interrupted softly, voice like silk. "It's okay, ma'am. I understand how busy he is." Cassandra looked up sharply. "You understand my husband?" Naomi looked down modestly. "I only mean he carries a lot." That sentence hit Brett like a massage to his ego. Cassandra stood up slowly. "Naomi, you're the maid. Please don't speak like you're his therapist. Naomi's face fell in a perfect performance of innocence. Brett slammed the table. Don't talk to her like that. She's just doing her job. Cassandra froze. That was new. Brett had never defended Cassandra that loudly. But here he was, defending the maid. That afternoon, Naomi started the poison. Not obvious poison. The kind that tastes like sympathy. While cleaning Brett's office, she spoke carefully. Sir, please forgive me for saying this. Brett didn't look up. Say what? Naomi hesitated like she feared consequences. Mrs. Whitmore, she looks unhappy. Sometimes women like that, they don't value what they have until it's gone. Brett's pen paused. Naomi continued softly. I'm not blaming her. I just noticed things. Brett leaned back, anger smoldering. You think she doesn't appreciate me? Naomi shook her head quickly. No, I'm just saying, if I had a man who worked that hard, I would treat him like a king. That's when Brett stared at her. Not like a maid, like a woman. Cassandra noticed a shift too. That night, Cassandra waited for Brett in the bedroom. We need to talk, she said. Brett sighed, removing his watch. Not now. Cassandra stepped closer. You've changed. You're colder. And Naomi. Brett's eyes hardened. Don't start with that. Cassandra held her tears back. She's crossing boundaries. Brett laughed bitterly. Oh, please. Naomi is more respectful than you. That sentence sliced Cassandra open. She whispered, Brett, I'm your wife. Brett snapped, then act like it. Stop nagging. Cassandra's lips trembled. I'm not nagging. I'm fighting for my marriage. Brett scoffed. You're fighting for control. Cassandra stepped back, as if he slapped her, and Naomi, listening from outside the door, smiled faintly. The cracks were forming. Now, all Naomi needed was one big push. And the Whitmore mansion, once a castle of love, began turning into a battlefield. Naomi knew what she was doing, and she knew what she needed. Not Brett's body. Not yet. She needed Brett's belief. Because once a man believes his wife is the enemy, the mate doesn't even need to fight. So Naomi created a scene. One evening, Brett returned earlier than expected. The mansion was quiet. Cassandra was out attending a charity meeting. Perfect timing. Naomi accidentally spilled water on her blouse while cleaning the study. The fabric clung slightly. Nothing explicit, but enough to create discomfort. When Brett walked in, Naomi turned quickly, startled. Oh, sir, I didn't know you were home. Brett froze. What happened? Naomi hugged herself shyly. I'm so sorry. I made a mess. Brett's throat tightened. Go change. Naomi nodded, eyes lowered. She walked past him slowly. Brett watched, then hated himself for watching. But the real plan wasn't seduction. It was timing. When Cassandra returned, she walked in and saw Brett standing in the study doorway and Naomi rushing upstairs. Cassandra's face tightened instantly. What was that? She asked. Brett snapped. Don't start. Cassandra's voice rose. I'm not starting. I just walked in and saw my husband staring while the maid runs upstairs half-dressed. Brett's pride ignited. You're sick. Cassandra trembled. No, Brett. I'm not blind. Naomi returned then, now properly dressed, eyes red as if she'd been crying. I'm sorry, ma'am, Naomi whispered. I didn't mean to cause trouble. Cassandra stared at her. You're enjoying this. Naomi gasped softly like she'd been slapped. Why would you say that? Brett exploded. That's enough. Brett shouted. You're always accusing, always judging. Naomi works hard. She respects this home more than you do. Cassandra looked at him like she didn't recognize him. More than me? She whispered. Brett stepped forward. Yes. At least Naomi doesn't treat me like a villain. Cassandra's eyes filled. Because Naomi wants something from you. Brett's fist clenched. And what do you want? My money? My time? My soul? Cassandra's breath shook. I wanted your love, but you don't have any left for me. Silence crashed. Then Brett said words he would regret forever. If you're so unhappy, Cassandra, leave. Cassandra stared. Her tears didn't fall fast. They fell slow, heavy like truth. She whispered, "You mean that?" Brett didn't answer. That was enough. Cassandra walked upstairs, packed a suitcase, and returned quietly. Naomi stood in the hallway, pretending to be sad. "Ma'am, please," Naomi said. "Don't go because of me." Cassandra stopped and looked Naomi dead in the eyes. "You're not the reason," Cassandra said softly. Then she turned to Brett. "You are." And with that, Cassandra walked out the door. Brett watched her leave, anger still boiling. Naomi waited until the door closed. Then she smiled slightly. Naomi thought, the throne is empty, but she didn't know empty thrones can become graves. For the first week after Cassandra left, Brett pretended he was relieved. No arguments, no tears, no emotional speeches. Just quiet. But quiet isn't peace when it's filled with guilt. The mansion felt colder. The bed felt bigger. And the silence started sounding like Cassandra's absence laughing at him. Naomi tried to step into the empty space. She dressed nicer, smiled brighter, stayed around longer. One night, she entered Brett's lounge with a tray. "I made chamomile tea," she said softly. "It helps you sleep." Brett stared at her. "Since when do you care if I sleep?" Naomi's eyes glistened. "Since I started caring about you." She sat closer than she should. "Brett," she whispered, "I know you've been lonely. Cassandra didn't value you the way she should." Brett's jaw tightened. Naomi touched his arm gently. "I would never treat you like she did." Naomi said, "If I were your woman." Brett's body didn't move toward her. It moved away. His eyes narrowed. "My woman?" Naomi's smile faltered. I only meant." Brett stood up, suddenly angry, not at Naomi, but at himself for being stupid. "You planned this," Brett said. Naomi blinked fast. "Plan what?" Brett's voice rose. "You slipped into my house, whispered poison about my wife, played innocent, and waited for me to throw her away." Naomi's face changed. The mask cracked. Her eyes hardened like stone. "So what?" she snapped. "You think Cassandra was enough for you?" "She was boring, cold, always sad." Brett flinched. "Stop." Naomi stepped forward, bold now. "I gave you peace. I made you feel like a king." Brett's eyes burned. "No, you made me feel like a fool." Naomi scoffed. "And now you're realizing you miss her? You miss a woman who couldn't satisfy your ego." Brett slammed his fist on the table. "Get out." Naomi froze. "What?" Brett pointed toward the door. "Get out of my house." Naomi's lips curled. "You can't fire me. I know too much." Brett leaned close, voice low and deadly. "You are nothing but a mistake that cost me my wife." Naomi stormed out, furious, and Brett sat down slowly, head in his hands. Suddenly, everything replayed in his mind. Cassandra's tears, Cassandra's quiet loyalty, Cassandra's voice asking, "Do you still love me?" And the moment she walked away, Brett whispered, broken, "I threw away my diamond for glass." That night, the billionaire who feared nothing faced his worst enemy, regret, and regret doesn't care how rich you are. Brett searched for Cassandra like a man searching for air, but Cassandra wasn't waiting. She wasn't begging. She was healing. He found her in a modest apartment across town. No guards, no marble floors, just peace. He stood outside her door for 2 minutes before knocking. When Cassandra opened the door, her eyes widened slightly, then became calm again. "Brett," she said. Her voice didn't shake. That scared him more than anger. "I need to talk," Brett whispered. Cassandra didn't step aside. "Talk." Brett swallowed. "I made a mistake." Cassandra nodded once. "Yes, you did." Brett's voice cracked. "I let someone manipulate me. I let pride poison me." Cassandra's eyes shimmered, but she didn't surrender. "And you chased me away," she said quietly. Brett nodded, tears gathering. "I did, and I've been living in hell since." Cassandra exhaled. "So why are you here? Lonely?" "Guilty." Brett shook his head fast. I'm here because I finally understand something. He stepped closer, slowly. I didn't lose you because you failed me, he said. I lost you because I failed you. Cassandra blinked, holding herself. Brett continued. You carried me. You believed in me when I had nothing, and I repaid you by humiliating you in your own home. Cassandra's lips trembled. I begged you, Brett. I begged you to listen. He dropped to his knees. A billionaire on his knees. Not for a deal, for forgiveness. I'm sorry, Brett whispered. I'm sorry I broke the safest thing I've ever had. Cassandra covered her mouth, tears finally falling. But she whispered sternly, I'm not coming back to be disrespected again. Brett nodded desperately. You won't. Cassandra stared at him. If I return, it will be because you become a different man. Brett looked up, eyes full of truth. Then I'll change, he said, not to keep you, but because you deserve better than who I was. Silence hung between them like fragile glass. Then Cassandra slowly opened the door wider. Come in, she said quietly. Brett rose carefully, stepping inside like a man entering holy ground. And Cassandra's voice, soft but powerful, became the final moral line. A woman can forgive you, but she will never forget what you taught her. Brett nodded. He had learned the lesson too late, but at least he learned it, because a loyal wife isn't replaced. She's honored. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and don't forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you.